Hey folks, Levi here once again. Welcome back to another review, another video. Hope you enjoyed my review for Spectre Gadget 2 from 2003. Hope you enjoyed that review. As you know, this is my new YouTube channel. Let me mention it again. Tell you folks that make sure I want to say thank you for the 26 subs. So let's keep on making this channel grow. Yep, this is my new YouTube channel. And I've been on YouTube for 10 years, but I had to create a new channel. So make sure to sub to this one. Yeah, do not do not subscribe to this one. Not this one. This one. The one with the mass profile picture. This is my new channel here. So, anyway. And on my channel, I've been continuing with the videos that I did on the other channel onto this new one. Sorry. And I've been reviewing superhero movies from the 2000s. I've been doing the 2000s era of superhero movies. I've been reviewing movies from the 2000s. Superhero movies from 2000s, I mean. Whether live action or animated, same thing. But 2000 to 2009. So, and I'm on the year 2003. So, I did review the Daredevil, the 2003 film theatrical version, and director's cut, and I reviewed Inspirated too. So now, this is a sequel that came out in 2003. This is 21 years, and I did review the first movie on my other channel. But I love this movie. This is my favorite one. This is, of course, X-Men. This is X2, X-Men United. This is just the not much special features on it. This is my favorite X-Men movie. Love this movie. This is indeed the sequel to X-Men from 2000. Because let's say we had Blade 1998, which was the reason we get Marvel movies today. It was because of Blade. People would say Spider-Man. No, it was Blade. That's just I just see it that way, but that's just me. Anyway, Blade. Then you had first X-Men movie. Then you had Spider-Man, and then of course two X-Men, and of course forgot to mention Blade 2. We had Blade 2, which came out in 2002, same year as Spider-Man, Sam Raimi Spider-Man, and then we got X2, X-Men United. No, I'm sorry, we got Daredevil, Ben Affleck, and then we got X2, X-Men United. So it's kind of like the second Marvel sequel when you think about it. Well, it's the second installment in the X-Men franchise. Yeah, the second, and like I said, the sequel to the 2000 film X-Men. Yeah, because the first movie did so well. I figure they probably just wanted to make a franchise. Yeah, that's usually what happens in Hollywood. The first movie does really well at the box office, you're gonna get a sequel. That's just Hollywood. Yeah. But this is my favorite X-Men movie. Such an awesome film. Yeah. But let's get on to the making of it. So some people you can call it X2, X-Men United, or X-Men 2, or X2. It gets a lot of different titles. I know it's a little weird. For development for the film, though, the financial and critical success of the first X-Men movie was led 20th Century Fox to immediately commission a sequel. Starting in November 2000, if he doesn't hear me, Bryan Singer researched various storylines, one of them being the legacy virus of the X-Men comic book series. Singer wanted to study the human perspective, the kind of blind rays that feeds into warm going and terrorism, saying a need for human civilian. Bryan and producer Tom DeNiso envisioned X2 as a film series to the Empire Strikes Back, and that the characters are all split apart and then discussed it, dislocated revelations occur that are significant. Very much comes to future, a lot of things happen. So, Bryan Singer takes a lot of inspiration from Star Wars from Empire Strikes Back because that's a great sequel. Still the best Star Wars movie, in my opinion. Producer Avi Albert announced a planned November 2002 release date, while David Ayer and Zach Penn were hired to separate the scripts. Ayer and Penn came out what they felt would be the best elements of both scripts into one screenplay. Singer and Hart and Hader worked on another script, finished not until 2001. Penn was hired when he was convinced Singer not to adapt the Dark Phoenix saga storyline for the film, feeling that the franchise universe should be established more before going cosmic instead. What he feels was his major contribution to the project. Penn based the film outline in original Kremlin's graphic novel X-Men God Loves main kills before leaving work to another movie. Sponsored out of the Danger Room before the set piece was restored due to budgetary concerns. Picture there. Michael Dougherty and Dan Harris were hired to rewrite Hader and Ben's script in February 2002. They turned down the opportunity to write Urban Legends Bloody Mary. They turned hundreds of drafts to Singer. Angel and Beast appeared in other drafts, but were deleted because there were too many characters. Jonathan Hamilton does have is of course Beast, and Angel will be in the next movie. You have a character I think named Jubilee too. She might have a cameo, but they don't do nothing with her character. Beast's appearance was similar to Jim Lee's 1990 work of the character in the series X-Men Legacy. Angel was to have been a mutant experiment by William Stryker, transforming to Archangel. A reference to Dougherty's Harris efforts to include Angel remains in the form of an X-Men on display in one of Stryker's labs. While May was set to respond to Sabretooth before the character was deleted, in Harris's script, the role eventually was filled by Lady Deathstrike, played by the beautiful Asian actress Kelly Hu, who appears in the comics as Stryker's personal assistant assassin. Singer changed her to Deathstrike, setting a need for another kick-ass mutant. There was to be more development on Cyclops and Professor X being brainwashed by Stryker. The scenes were shot, but Fox cut them because of the timeline and story complications. Hader was disappointed, feeling that James Marsden deserved more screen time, which I do agree with that. Rewrites were commissioned once more to give Halle Berry more screen time, which I do like. This was because of her recent popularity in Monsters Ball, earning her Academy Award for Best Actress. A budget cut meant the Sentinels and the Danger Room were dropped. Matt Hendricks and production crew had already set the Danger Room. Producer Lauren Sheldon Donner, who was, I believe, the wife of Richard Donner, who directed Superman from 1978, which started all of the superhero movies that we get today, filming in March 2002. Production did not begin until June 17, 2002 in Vancouver and ended by November. Over 64 sets were used in 38 different locations. The film encountered problems. There was snow and tank. I can't say it right for them to use for some scenes, so they had to use some fake snow. They did have Jean Grey sacrificed at the end to be resurrected in the third installment. It was highly secretive. Singer did not tell fake Ben Genez until midway through filming. While filming the scene where Xavier and Lynch are playing chess, Stewart and McKellen had no clue how to play chess, so they had to learn how to play it. Cinematographer Newton Thomas Sigel and two stunt drivers nearly died when filming in the scene in which Pyro his few police officers. Yeah, two stunt drivers nearly died. So yeah. We'll talk about that scene later. James Brown had worked as Hugh Jackman's stunt double for rehearsals until he suffered an injury. Due to his looks, Singer asked him to play the role of Gambit for a cameo appearance. The Gambit scene was deleted. According to Alan Cumming, Singer began berating the cast, which led to Halle Berry saying to Singer, "You can kiss my black ass." I don't know if she said that. That's true. I wasn't there, so if there were some issues with Singer in the cast, I've heard stories about Bryan Singer sexually harassing women or kids. I've heard certain little things about it, you know, but I fully am not gonna act like I know what I talk about. But Cumming, yeah, he's a new character. We get some new characters in this movie, including Alan Cumming here, if you see him right there, Nightcrawler. Yeah, John Ottman composed this. Cumming worked, but also later said that working on the film was a bad experience, which was sad though, because I guess that's why he didn't come in back to do the other movies. I guess it was that bad, which was a shame though, because I thought he did a great job as Nightcrawler. John Ottman composed the score, replacing Michael Kamen to do the score for the first movie, as well as themes for Magneto, Jean Grey, Nightcrawler, Mystique, and Pyro. Design effects. Singer and Single credited Road to Perdition as a visual influence. Singer shot the first X-Men in format. He shot X2 in Super 35. Singer felt the recent improvements in the film stocks increased. Cameras that were used during filming included Milos and Mims XL. I can't really say that right. I'm not an expert on those cameras. Singer also used some zoom lenses more often than he did in his previous films. Visual effects supervisor Mike Fink was not satisfied with his work on the previous film. Up to 520 shots were created for X-Men 2. The first cut of X-Men 2 was rated R by the motion picture due to violent shots with Logan. When Stryker's army stormed the Max Mansion, a few seconds were cut to score a PG-13 rating. The film premiered in London on April 24, 2003, and were released, in May 2nd, 2003. The film score was by John Ottman. It was a regular collaborator with film director Bryan Singer. X2 was released on DVD and widescreen, full performance as well on VHS. For sequels, you got X-Men: The Last Stand, which will be the third movie. That was not directed by Bryan Singer, but by Brett Ratner. You had X2. You had some video games like X2's Wolverine for the gameplay. So does Spider-Man. Wolverine's revenge is an action game played from a third person. Playing as Wolverine, the player can react or send his automatic claws, punch, kick, and slide, tackle to fight soldiers and mimic creatures. Oh, and in the game, he's voiced by Mark Hamill. Wow. And X-Men, the official game, players control the actions of several X-Men related characters. Not just Logan, Wolverine, but Nightcrawler and Iceman. You get to play as them. Yeah, I remember hearing about this game. You can tell about Nightcrawler, Iceman. You can use his abilities too. Yeah, but these games you can find on PlayStation 2 or sure it's not PlayStation 2, but GameCube, Xbox 360. And for the cast of the movie, you have Patrick Stewart as Professor Charles Xavier, who is runs the school for the gifted for mutants, protect them. And his powers include he's a telepathic mutant. He's in a wheelchair, but he can, read your mind or even, stop time with his mind, which is really cool. Hugh Jackman is Wolverine Logan, uh, who has adamantium claws, adamantium claws here that come out of his hands. And he's got a healing factor, which, he can't really get hurt. He can get hurt or injured, but he heals up really quickly. That's a healing factor. And like an animal, kind of like a wolf, he can sense when there's danger. Ian McKellen plays Eric Lyncher, Magneto, who's more of a secondary antagonist in this movie. But Magneto is Eric Lyncher. He was friends with Charles Xavier, but he, created the Brotherhood of Mutants. He has the power to control metal. You know, he has the power to handle magnetism. Halle Berry plays Armor Monroe, Storm. She can control the weather for the mind, and she's also a teacher at Xavier School. Figment Jim as Jean Grey, a teacher at Xavier School. She has her power of telepathy as well, like the president, and she has telekinesis powers, control things with her mind too. James Marsden, Scott Summers, Cyclops, the field leader of the X-Men. He's also a teacher. He shoots uncontrollable beams out force from his eyes, from his goggles he's got there. And Pac-Man's Maria Rogue. Now remember, she can't really touch anymore. She has other powers, but if Rogue touches you, you can basically just die. Yeah. Breaker Range Stamos plays Raven Mystique, who can change herself to anybody. Yeah, we're changing anybody's voice. Brian Cox plays our new villain, a new kid with a new villain too, as William Stryker. His military Cyrus, who plans on using worldwide genocide of mutants using Xavier and Cerebro. Let's do it. Alan Cumming plays Short Wagner Nightcrawler, who's a kind of German mutant. He's Catholic faith. He's very much a Christian. He's a Nightcrawler. He can teleport any way he wants, or sneak around. Uh, but the makeup on Alan Cumming is very good as well. Bruce Davison as Senator Kelly. Aaron Standoff as John Hillis, Pyro, in front of Bobby and Rogue. He can throw fire. You know, John Ashmore is Bobby Drake Iceman, who can of course create ice out of his hands. And, you know, he can freeze objects and he can freeze objects to create ice. Taylor who plays against the narrative Lady Deathstrike. A mutant with a healing ability like Wolverine, who is controlled by Stryker. She has her X-Men doesn't come from her hands like it comes from Wolverine. It comes out of her fingers. Daniel Corello portrayed Rasputin Clausius, the mutant who can turn into metal. You have Peter. I'm sorry. Michael Reed McKay portrays Jason, 143, Stryker's son. A little girl named Kelly Previous portrays little girl. Tyler Smith portrayed a U.S. President, McKenna, and Todd Olson portrayed Michelle Laura, the security guard for Magneto's prison cell. The film's writers, Michael Dougherty and Dan Harris, they have cameos in scenes of Wolverine's Weapon X flashbacks as surgeons. Extra Juice was released in the United States on May 2nd, 2003. It was the ninth highest grossing film of 2003. The film was directed by Bryan Singer, who, yeah, he also, someone after this, did direct Superman Returns that came out in 2006, a couple years later. And he also directed X-Men Days of Future Past and sadly X-Men Apocalypse. Yeah, one day in the future. And the screenplay is by Michael Dougherty and Dan Harris and David Ayer. His work includes they also worked on Superman Returns, X-Men Apocalypse, Godzilla vs. Kong, and the new one as well. Dan Harris, who also did the script for Superman Returns and X-Men Apocalypse. David Ayer. Based on X-Men created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, produced by Lawrence Schultz Donner, Richard Donner's wife, I believe. Yep. She's produced movies like St. Elmo's Fire, Mr. Mom, starring Michael Keaton, Lady Hawk, Free Willy, love Free Willy, and Free Willy Too Thief Mr. Home. You've got Mel, Any Given Sunday, X-Men and X2. She also did, produced Constantine and X-Men Last Stand, and X-Men Origins of Wolverine, and Days of Future Past, The Wolverine, X-Men First Class, and Deadpool. And she's also producing the new Deadpool and Wolverine movie. So she's continuing to work on some of the X-Men movies. Executive producer on Assassins, and executive producer on the TV series of Free Willy, and Volcano, starring Tommy Lee Jones, the movie. Yeah. Ralph Winter is also producer. He produced some of the Star Trek movies, uh, the ones with the original cast, from 3 to 6. Uh, he produced Hocus Pocus, Planet of the Apes, The Left Behind the Movie, Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four 2005, the 2005 one version, X-Men Origins of Wolverine, Hocus Pocus 2. Cinematography by Newton Thomas Siegel. Sorry guys, I love reading about the people's work sometimes. So just never know what you. Oh, he of course was cinematographer on another superhero movie in the '90s that was Blank Man, and he worked with Bryan Singer on The Usual Suspects in the first X-Men movie, and Superman Returns, and X-Men Days of Future Past, and X-Men Apocalypse. Made by John Ottman, who also did the music score for the film. Uh, I guess he did the music score. Let's see, bits of that about Halloween H2O. 20 years later, Eight-Legged Freak, Cellular, Superman Returns, Fantastic Four, using some of these by John Williams. Unknown, which is a Liam Neeson action thriller film, and Nonstop, another Liam Neeson movie. X-Men Days of Future Past and X-Men Apocalypse. He did the music for Last Stand, didn't he? Let's see, I know he did. No, that was somebody else, I guess. Ellie Grimm is edited and produced in films like Steve Jobs, Captain Marvel, No Time to Die, Superman Returns. Production companies 20th Century Fox, Marvel Entertainment, and Donner's Company, Bad Hat Harry Productions. It's distributed by 20th Century Fox. It was released May 2nd, 2003. It's 134 minutes long. The budget to make the movie was $125 million. And at the box office, it made $407.7 million worldwide. So it did pretty good at the box office. Got positive reviews from critics about the acting, action, and story, which I can see why. I disagree with that. Him saying it didn't live up to the potential. I disagree. It did. I think. I mean, there are a little bit of problems, a little bit of issues here and there, but not too badly. Yeah, which I'll get to. And for the plot for X2 X-Men United is that William Stryker, a villainous former army commander, holds the key to Wolverine's past. As Wolverine Logan has not, he has amnesia. He doesn't remember who he really is. Doesn't remember how he got his claws. He's got a past that he doesn't know about. And Stryker also forms an attack on the X-Men mansion. Threat rehearsed call for immediate registration act. Stryker starts a full-out assault on Professor Xavier's school mansion after escaping his plastic cell. So pretty much they kidnap the children, they kidnap Cyclops and the Professor. So the X-Men are divided in this movie, but Wolverine, along with some of the kids, Wolverine's got to, him and some of the other mutants, younger mutants he's working with, including Rogue, and yeah, they have to work together. They have to work with Magneto to get out of his cell, and they have to help along with Mystique. They'll have to Wolverine, Storm, and Jean Grey. They all have to work together to stop Stryker to go to find out where he's at. To go stop him, save Professor X and the children and Cyclops, and pretty much stop him. And Logan has to find out, about his memories, about his past, and yeah, and they basically just kind of have to save the day toward the end. So that's the plot in a nutshell for you. Yeah. Before I get to it, then we're going to talk about the movie itself. Then I'll give my final opinion on it. All right. So X2, X-Men United. Oh, this is also a revisit review. I did read this film about 10 years ago on my other channel about reviewing it. So this is just like Spider-Man was, the X2, X-Men United. This is a revisit review. So I forgot to mention that earlier, but it'll say in the title of the review, the video. Um, the movie starts with a narration by Patrick Stewart by Professor X by Mutation. We get the opening. Love the music by John Ottman. It's really good music. So it really fits the X-Men really well, in my opinion. Then you get the opening. You get the scene where somebody's showing people the White House. Nightcrawler there, but he's like in a hat and sunglasses in disguise. And he goes another way, and the security goes like, "Sir, I'm afraid you're the wrong way, sir." And Nightcrawler starts attacking the security service. Says, "Mr. President, you're in trouble." Afraid that the president's in trouble, he's attacking. And it's cool to see him fight. And the music score I think is really good here. He's fighting them, he's able to go across them, knocks them all out. There's the president like almost pulling a knife out. We're almost ready to kill him, but Secret Service agent, gets up, kind of stands up, gets his gun and shoots him, and Nightcrawler, teleports away, and he sees the knife, and it says "Meaning of Freedom" now. And then we see the next scene where Wolverine finally reaches the snowy lake, hopefully lake, I forget what you call it, this lake. Sees a wolf there, but the wolf just him and have a stare down at each other. He tries to go to this. It's like a Hoover Dam kind of in a way, into this dam, but it's just nothing there. It's just exited. There's nothing there. He's like, didn't find what he was looking for. And then we open up, we see the X-Men. Well, Xavier School is they're visiting a museum. Storm is teaching them about them. Just being a teacher. And you have Cyclops, Scott and Jean that are talking, and Jean is makes people's mind. They're calling them freaks and stuff. I do like it though when one kid tries to my little girl, and she like, and he looks, he does this big kind of like with her tongue that lips out, and she's like, "Stop it," Storm tells him. But Scott and Jean have a talk. Who's her brain is just her telepathic powers are just messed up. He's like, "You've been there since Liberty." I was like, "I don't know what's going on with me. My powers are acting weird. And I don't know what's going on with me." Sky's like, "I'll let nothing happen to you," and then gives her a hug. And they say, "Hey, have you guys seen Rogue?" Like something's happening in the food court. Then you see, John and Pyro, Iceman and Rogue. They're talking to these kids, or well, not mutants, but humans, talking to them and saying, "Dude, let me have the lighter." He uses the control's powers. They take the lighter from him. He's like, "Who'd you gonna be a dick like that?" And then he's able to like using his eye, giving away control the fire in his hand. He's on fire, but then Iceman freezes him, and then all of a sudden, you know, time stops and everyone, all humans freeze. And like Bobby, what'd you do? Like that wasn't me. It's like then Resurrect shows up like, no, that was me. He's like, and the next time you feel like showing off, don't. And he looks at the TV and they see that a mutant attack on the president's life happened. So they had to talk about this. So they leave. Well, when Jean expressed, someone said she experiences the future, which includes the Phoenix, I guess. The next scene you see William Stryker, Colonel William Stryker, going to the president, and he needs the president's permission to do this for a special operation. But Stryker hates the mutant race, and he plans to destroy them. He wants to invade the house, and you find out that there'll be spoilers in this video. I'm going to spoil it. Is that Stryker was the one that planned the attack? They think at first the X-Men think it's Magneto. So I go over my reviews. You have Professor X and Charles. Well before that, William Stryker, the president. It's like, all right, William, I'll give you permission to do it. Timothy Kelly comes in, who was actually in disguise. Steve, he's like, Eric Lyncher, do you have access to him? Yes. We built the plastic prison that he's in. You know, that happens. So Stryker, Kelly says, is there a possible range of vision? Like, it's not a petting zoo, so no. He's like, do you really want to touch some kind of board? Like, don't lecture me about war. But like, been on war since you've been sucking on your mom's tit or something like that. He says something to him. He says something like that. Stryker goes to, yeah. I think there's also a scene in here where Professor X and Magneto play chess. He's like, aren't you worried they can come after your precious X-Men one day? He's like, I feel pity for the one that comes to that school looking for trouble. You know, but you have Professor X, Scott and Jean and Storm talking about what they're gonna do. He said we gotta find this mutant before the authorities do. They said we gotta get this situation under control because that it could either should mutant act or they could be arrested. It could cause a lot of trouble for them, especially in the political world, or if people start seeing them as threats. You know, that's why they have his Xavier School, which is for protection. But they have to do this, so he's going to use Cerebro to track Nightcrawler down. Logan shows up. Rose sees this. Rose, hugs him, and she says, "Hey, Logan, how you doing?" And he's like, "This is Poppy, my boyfriend." And they shake hands. He freezes Logan's husband. He's like, "Mm." And says hi to Storm, and then he says, "Hey, Jean." They still have these feelings for each other, but of course she's with Scott, and Scott's like this. See you later, honey. He's like this. Hey, Scott, how you doing? Then he throws him the keys like throws him the keys like you bite these gas. He's like, well, fill her up. Welcome home. You know. And Logan tries to go talk to Professor X. It's like, you know, what you showed me didn't work. It wasn't there. And he's like, Logan, I can't tolerate you smoking. You keep doing that. I'm gonna, have Gene mess with your mind and think you're yourself as a little girl. I'll have Gene break your hair. It's like, okay. He likes to cigarette with his on his finger on his hand. Yeah, burns, but like I said, Wolverine has a healing factor. He heals up real quick. He tells him that didn't work, but they couldn't find what he was looking for. Yeah, at this lake, this building he was looking for, it wasn't there. He's like, Logan, I'm afraid. You know, like Logan's like, we can deal. So Professor X tells him he finds Nightcrawler, but X, Charles tells him, Logan, that sometimes the mind has to discover things for itself. It'll just be the same results, the same nightmares you'll be having. You know, he's like, I'm glad you're around. We do need someone to watch the children for us, because, like I said, the characters do separate. Because like I said, Singer takes inspiration from X2. I mean, from Professor X, the characters do separate. With Cyclops and Xavier himself going to visit Magneto. Again, and Storm going to track down Nightcrawler in Boston. Mystique, though, who's in disguise, she's able to find his prison. She, pretends to be Lady Deathstrike. Deathstrike by one disguises her, sneaking to the office. She is able to locate where his cell is at. She also finds out that there may be an extra Cerebro, so she gets that real quick before Billy Who walks back in. Billy Who does, but Mystique is able to sneak away, but pretending to be the custodian. It says, "Oh, I'm just getting trash." And she walks past the guy, and the guy, custodian, leaves Mystique as she this guy's he's like, "Hmm, that was funny." Uh, Striker does get that approval. Striker does visit Magneto in prison. You know, he just uses this thing. It's a bag of Munis next, where he can put this serum on their neck. He's like, "Okay, you can leave now." He's like, "We'll talk about the school that has a jet in it. It's Cerebro and Professor Charles Xavier." So he tells him all about it, but just mind controlling him. He tells him everything. But I forgot to mention Cerebro. It has the power to connect to every human and mutant on Earth. The mutants are red, the humans are white. Anyway, Jean and Storm take the X Jet, which is really cool. This might be a picture of the X Jet right here. They take it, they go find Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler's basically just saying a certain language, probably telling them to get away. They won't, and she's like, okay, I've had enough. Since he's not listening, he won't come down. Storm uses her powers to, electricity to get him to calm down. She uses her hand to use her telekinesis powers. Jean does, and he's like, "I've been in the circus." He's like, "I don't know." Like he's typically telling that he was being mind controlled. They see the thing in the back of his neck. You know, Professor X and Cyclops go to check on him, and then go to see Magneto. But he's like, "Eric, what's happening?" He's like, "Cyclops." He's like, "Get out, Scott!" Scott fights with the security guard. He's able to use his powers a little bit. Well, Kelly, who comes in with her plastic gun to shoot him, doesn't work. So he uses his blast, his laser beams, keeps her down and a few guards down. Fights with the other guard, knocks him out. I like Cyclops able to fight himself, but eventually Lady Deathstrike gets back up, he kicks his ass, and so that's the last time we see him pretty much until the third act of the movie. Yeah, it is sad that we didn't get enough screen time with Cyclops because he's a big major character in the X Men franchise, I believe. So being the leader, and it's sad that he got less screen time here. Anyway, after that, Professor X passes out and is kidnapped by Deathstrike, well, by Web Striker. And while babysitting, though, Logan is dreaming, but he has the nightmare of what happened to him. can't sleep. So he's like, "Do we have any beer?" He asks Bobby. Bobby's like, "This is cool. We have soda in there." He's like, "Okay." He's like, "So you and Gene, huh?" I like when Wolverine goes talk to a kid. He's like, "A kid can show the mind with his TV or whatever. Can't just use remote. Just use his eyes." He's like, "I don't sleep." He's like, "You're not sleeping." And the kid says to Wolverine's like, and Wolverine's like, "How do you know that? Because you're awake." And he goes to talk to Bobby. He's like, and Bobby says, "I see the way you look at, Gene, Dr. Gray." He's like, "Excuse me?" He's like, "Nothing." Meanwhile, they're talking. The kid that's watching TV goes see this guy, and it's a military soldier, and says, "Hey," the military shoots him. He doesn't kill him, probably just uses this gun to knock him out. To knock him out. And Wolverine insists that these men are coming, smells them, and one of them tries to attack Bobby. Wolverine sneaks up behind him, grabs him, and they start attacking these kids in the bed. All the military is, coming in. Strikers, military men. One girl screams like really loud. Well, I mean it. She's going ah, it's so loud that the whole house can, all the mutants wake up. But they're, he has every shooter shut up. The guy attacks Wolverine and he, gets a knife and stabs Wolverine in the face with it. Like he's gonna stab Wolverine. Wolverine. Wolverine pulls out his knives, with his animating claws, and he's like, "I'm in trouble now." And then Wolverine's like, "Ah." And he's like, "You get out of here." And he needs Bobby to safety. Wolverine like stabs one guy. Wolverine, stabs some people, which is badass to see. Wolverine is some good action. It is a shame though that this film is PG-13. Maybe there's a cut of this movie if you can see right off because when he's even slashing, you really don't see no blood. So they really did cover the blood, which is a shame. But again, I understand it's an X-Men film. Maybe X-Men shouldn't be that bloody. Wolverine is, but it's not a Wolverine movie. It's also an X-Men movie. Um, Wolverine fights more men. He's able to save one of the kids, and you have Colossus. You see him for a bit, knock one of the guys out. They're able to get out this back door on a wall, and Wolverine tells them help them, you know, and they go find where Rogue and Bobby and John find each other. He tells them to go away. He's like this. I almost say he closes them out. He's like, "You want to shoot me? Go ahead and shoot me." He's like, "Don't shoot him." And Striker looks up to him. He's like, "Do I know you?" Wolverine says, "He's like, it's been a long time, Wolverine. Don't you remember? You haven't changed one bit." I have apparently. He's like, "What's your miles?" They figure they gotta go back for a little because they know they're gonna kill him. And Bobby touches the wall and they would create like an ice block. You know, when they get out of there, they blow up the ice. But Striker came when he came for. He came for Cerebro. He's like, "Okay, gentlemen, take what we need." You know, uh, meanwhile, to free, since Mystique found out where he is, she finds out also his personal security guard. That his job is to watch him. Um, Regular remains nameless. As herself, you know, as Mystique is disguised as this woman, seduces the guard. She, puts like these pills in there. It's like they're almost gonna have sex in the bathroom, but she passes him out. She puts these hidden, she hits him with a serum of which are metal hidden in his body. Then they say the guard goes, so the goes in. They can't detect the metal. They try to hide his metal because I mean the metal he can use powers. And Magneto knows this. He's like he's like, officer, you got he's like, there's something wrong with you. He's like, sit your ass down. I was like, no, he's like, you better sit down. And then was like, there's too much iron in your blood. And when he uses the magnets and gets it out of his body, it's create like these magnetic balls to feel like a hole. He kills the guy. He's like, you know, Officer Mario, I guess is what he called. He, gets it out of his blood, kills him. He's like, Mr. Mario, never trust a beautiful woman, especially one that's interested in you. And Magneto breaks out, is able to use the magnet, able to like stand on it, knock two security guards out, and breaks out of prison. Uh, Wolverine, along with Rogue, Pyro, and Iceman, they escape in the car, and Logan, I mean, in Cyclops' car. They figure out where to go. Is like, we're gonna go to Boston, because he can't contact the Professor Cyclops, so he has to go find them. Cyclops, I mean, not Cyclops, but Jean, like that. Jean and Storm, they're in the X Jet, and Wolverine. Storm has a conversation with Nightcrawler. He's like this, and it's like, I want to live in peace. I'm peaceful. He tells about him being a Christian, and they have this certain moment where he's like, he's so beautiful, and why it's so beautiful, I have to be so angry. Well, anger can help you survive. He's like, and Nightcrawler says, so can faith. But they can't contact the mansion, can't contact anybody, don't know what's going on. But Logan, I mean, not, well, Logan's able to find in the core, I guess, a phone that can contact, I guess, the X Chat, you know, and they go to Bobby's parents' house, and they don't know. They think he's in a prep school, and he tells them about Stryker, name of Stryker. But they go to the parents' house. He's like, don't burn anything to talking to John Pyro, and he tells her he's not scared. Well, I mean, he gets a shirt for Rogue, and they try to share a kiss. It works than they try to share more of a kiss, but due to the human contact, he nearly gets hurt. She's like, I'm sorry. He's like, it's okay. Wolverine has a beer, just drink down on a beer. He feels like someone's attacking him. He puts his eye, and it's just a family cat. He's like, and the cat licks his knives, which I thought was funny. Then the parents come home, and they're looking at Wolverine like, the father goes like, who are you? He's like, and Wolverine's like, Bobby, was like, this is Professor Logan. Logan's not a president, just to pretend to be. They talk about the mutant problem. The mother gets annoyed with Pyro, you know, flicking and flipping off his playing with a lighter. And she's like, "Well, you mean a problem? It's just complicated." He shows him his power, but what we can do. Apparently, his brother is jealous. His brother calls the cops. Logan contacts, tells him that he's in Boston, that they're at Bobby's parents' house to come and get them. But like Bobby's brother calls the cops. The cops show up. Wolverine, gets his swords out, knives out because he thinks somebody Shark's men, I guess. But when he sees his cop, he's like, I can't do that. He's like, goes down, let me show you. And then shoots him in the head. Wolverine doesn't die. The bullet actually falls out of his head. Doesn't kill him, but they tell him to get the kids to get down. Rogan, Iceman quickly, get down. Pyro does, and Pyro's like, I'm one of those, one of those dangerous mutants you see on TV. I'm the worst. And then he fire attacks him. Like I said with that scene, when he's packing them in the fire, I think, there's two stuntmen that almost died in the scene. So, but for the scene to happen, he's in the fire, he's moving more, he's like killing them, and roll loose on Pyro's face, and Pyro's just, just enjoying attacking them. And he comes very close to killing two officers, comes very close to killing them. The Rogue, takes his gloves off, touches him, is able to stop him, absorb his powers, and she's able to stop the fire, you know, basically put him out. You know, excuse the pun. I guess take out, put the fire out. Um, Wolverine looks at him and says, like this. They show up in the X jet. You know, oh yeah, I forgot to mention Magneto does tell Professor X that he's he'll sure everything. He's like, well, the last defense, Charles, something like that. Yeah, the war has begun. Hmm. Next thing you know, Professor Xavier wakes up at Stryker's home, Stryker's base of operations, which is under these tunnels of the dam of the lake. And he tells him, You, my son, we blamed you for his condition. You know, I guess his wife committed suicide, and because of his son being immune, his son wasn't able to get help. They made Stryker have a hatred toward the mutants and just want to kill their race. Again, with X Men, it's morely about like racism, uh, you know, discrimination. Is about with the X Men, and it's all about hate. As Magneto hates the humans and wants to wipe the human race out, Stryker hates the mutant race and wants to wipe the mutant out. Which I can understand the motive. Maybe he really cared, deeply loved his son, of course, and when this happened to his son went out of his mind for good. Stryker just lost it. You know, he's like, in the they blamed him for it. He somehow had a hatred, and he blamed Professor X on it, and he hated all mutants. So he does experiments on them, and of course he's like, well, you didn't even have to read my mind, and because he tells Xavier, tells him, you did it, didn't you? You did that attack, but he did that attack so he can make mutants look like a threat to give him an excuse to attack the mansion to do this mission so that he can wipe out the mutant race. So he has Jason, who he calls Mutant 143. He's like, wrong, Charles. My son is dead, just like the rest of you. And he has a mess with his mind. He starts, he puts Professor X in this illusion. I think this was also based on on a comic book they did. I watched Minty Comedics art, 10 Things You Didn't Know About This Movie on his video of this. So check out Minty Comedic Arts, good channel. Anyway, so he, is in Professor X's mind. Professor X, sees in his mind his illusion that he's always like, stop Jason. And in order to get more in his mind, he creates illusions of this little girl. He's like, where's the mutants? Like, we'll go find them. And they will off to go find them to go to Cerebro. But as they're flying the X jet, trying to figure out where this location is at. I guess, yeah. Well, during this, they have two jets coming after the X jet. They back off, they start shooting at them, start firing, trying to fight with them. So it was cool to see some action with the X jet where they roll around a bit. And Carl's like, don't do that again. It's like, and Wolverine's like, yeah, I agree, don't do it again. But Storm was able to use her power. She creates all these three tornadoes. She's rid of some of them, but they shoot these missiles at her. Missiles, and Jean is able to use her power. Down to destroy one, but she can't destroy another one. A Nightcrawler is there. Grandma's never seen a Nightcrawler. When they come in, they're like, "Who's this?" He says, "Wolverine." I'm Phil Magna. But in the good ones, and he's like, "Save it." But anyway, this explosion happens. Rogue can't get her sleeping on Rogue. The airlock breaks. And it's the wind's blowing and it blows on out. About to fall to death, but Nightcrawler saves her. You know, they're about to die, getting close to it. Jean couldn't control power. Jean, you do see her eyes turn yellow. And when you do see that in the movie, you definitely see the Phoenix. I heard that there was a lead scene in this movie. Yeah, you don't have to lead scenes. You just have auto commentary with Brian Singer and some of the writers and producers of this movie. But I think there's really a scene where Phoenix controlling the jet with her mind. That's part of the Phoenix side of her that she can contain for now. Control that side of her. Anyway, I think it's just a hint of the Phoenix when you see her eyes turn yellow. But anyway, they get saved. Someone's controlling it. It's like, it's not me. And it's Magneto's like, when will these people ever learn to fly? And Magneto tells them that, they camp out for the night. Tells them that, he told them about Cerebro. He's like, well, Wolverine, if he's able to control the rest of it, if if Stryker gets him to go into the Cerebro that he built for him, able to control, make him concentrate hard enough, he can kill us all. So they have to stop this. And this is in the base of operations. It's down in the tunnel. Wolverine's like, well, I've already been there. Well, it's there, you know. It's like, well, Wolverine, just like your claws, you carry his signature. And Wolverine's confused because Wolverine does not remember this. But apparently Stryker was the one that created him. He's like, well, first I want you to figure out this for yourself. Nightcrawler talks to her a little bit. He's like, Nightcrawler sneaks, and they read in his mind. Well, Jean does. Jean and Logan have a talk, and they share a kiss. She's like, don't make me do this. Don't make me choose. Even though somewhat she's in love with Logan, makes the relationship complicated with them. But I'm glad the film's not so focused on her and focused on the love triangle. I don't like that in movies. It's just distracting, but Mystique sees this. Nightcrawler comes up to her, is like, I heard you can transfer, you be anybody, or even imitate their voice, like, even imitate their voice, like, why not be somebody else? And I was like, because I shouldn't have to be. He just walks away, and you have Jean coming in Wolverine's tent, and they start making out. You think they're gonna have sex to get at it, but he touches her stomach, and he remembers his cut. In the first movie, when he fought Mystique, he cut her, and he's like, the scratch he put on her. He's like, he left a remark. He's like, and then she transforms herself into Storm and Rogue, and then back to Jean. He's like, he shows us where you run. Then she transforms into Striker. He's like, get out, and she does. He's like, the next day they talk about how they're going to infiltrate this base of operations. That they can't just run in there. Wolverine intends to, but he's like, I'm not going to allow you to do that. So they use Mystique. Mystique goes and transforms herself into Wolverine. He's like, Striker, and she gets arrested. And she just smiles at them, and then he knows it's not Wolverine, and she transforms away herself and attacks these men. And she goes to the door, like she goes to the door, she's like this, gets in the finger. Thought that was funny, and he transforms herself into Shredder. He's like, we're getting attacked. She knocks two men out. Gets the door down. She's like this, that's Shredder. AW's computer. She sees where the mutants are at. Where Xavier could be, and the mutants. Thankfully using Storm using her abilities, and Jean, they're able to Jean not able to use her telekinesis powers and through the guards and knock them out. That well, we all have to split up, or we're gonna have to go do this and that. Wolverine sees that. Wolverine sees that Striker is there. He tries to go for Striker, tries to find out more about his past here. And it's like, oh, he's gone. And Storm and Nightcrawler are gonna go try to find the children. Jean and Magneto and Mystique are gonna show up. Professor X using show Charles this kid. Well, this little girl, Jason, Mina 143, Striker's son, who's able to get him into the Cerebro until Striker tells him, tell you what, like this. Now it's time. Find all the units, kill them all, wipe them out. It's time. Or just say that Jason, but Jason understood. Jason is catatonic, can't move at all. Very this, like does this with his eyes. Still has that power. For illusion, he's just like a statue, living statue that can just move with his eyes. Pretty creepy. Anyway, and lets him use the illusion. It'll work to kill the mutants. And Striker says, kill anybody that comes to that door, even if it's me. So he has his men protected. Wolverine walks around the place, well, just a little bit to see more of his past. Um, Storm and Cyclops, Storm and Nightcrawler go see what's happening. They see that they found the kids. Nightcrawler goes to save them. Teleports over there. Logan and I mean not Logan, but as Jean is with Magneto and Mystique, they get attacked by Cyclops, who is being controlled by Magneto. I mean, by Stryker. And she's like, "Go, I got this," and she's able to fight him. Like, Scott, Scott, But Magneto has his own agenda, even though he's helping. I know it's that saying, "Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer." But Magneto has his own agenda, which he goes to fulfill. He's like, "This is a lower quality that we can't get involved," so they go away. Magneto and Mystique do. Wolverine sees the adamantium claws that he was born in that gave him his abilities. The tank, they create his claws, and he remembers his past. You have him fighting some man, you see some blood on him, and his eyes like, ah, you know, he's like, you're, it's like, saying short adamantium Wolverine. But I was wrong. I thought you were the only one. And Kelly Who, um, Mystique, Fudge, Lady Deathstrike and him fight. Wolverine, she like, this Wolverine pushes him back. And then Wolverine pulls out his claws, and she pulls out her fingers, that claws come out of him. He's like, kind of like a Wolverine's like this. Holy shit. And they fight. She's trying to, Wolverine. Wolverine's trying to hurry, slash him back. Wolverine's able to, give her stabs her. She's like this. He has a healing factor too. She smiles. So get back up, do a kick on him. They end up on top of the cage. She's like stabbing him. Wolverine like cuts it, and she ends up shoved in the water. Wolverine thinking that she's down now for the count, that she's done for. But apparently she's not. Lady Deathstrike gets back up, starts stabbing him. He starts stabbing him. He starts stabbing more Wolverine. Almost kills him, but Wolverine grabs like it's like to as she's trying to kill him. As Lady Deathstrike is stabbing at him, almost getting close to killing him. Wolverine's able to grab this, grab the side or whatever. It's or this tool or whatever, or like kind of like a shot that is connected with that antimatter, and he stabs her with it. She's like, ugh. She slowly dies. And the music score here, I love the music. It's one of my favorite score of the movie is like Deathstrike. My favorite, musical score in this movie is when Lady Deathstrike dies, and she looks like, and she just you see the antimatter come out of her eyes and mouth. She dies. Wolverine's like, oh, not one to look. Uh, Stryker is able to escape out of there. By the way, opens the store hatch. He's able to get out of the lake facility, trying to, because he has a helicopter. And then all of a sudden, the Jason, who's got Professor X in this illusion, but the illusion doesn't, illusion kind of almost works. Though he attacks the mutants. The mutants are, we're too late. We're too late. Well, before I gotta mention that, Jean flashes Cyclops. She's like, Scott, stop it. She's able to use her telekinesis, but he uses his Cyclops, uses his beams to get a truck out of his way. He tried to attack her more. And you see this, her Phoenix eye with her eyes going yellow. She attacks him. She gets about normal, but Jason is able to, as a little girl, Illusion as a little girl, is able to get him to concentrate harder on the mutants. The mutants get close to dying. It's like her, and there's like, ah, it's like a loud noise. John, by the way, Pyro walks out, says, I'm not going to wait here anymore. I'm just going to go in. Although the majority later he says he's going anyway. But Magneto donning his helmet, they got into it before that. Magneto stops the attack though because Magneto has his helmet on. His forgot to mention that there was a scene where him and Pyro were talking. Was that's a Dory looking helmet? It's like they said that they say you're the bad guy. Really? Is that what they say? It's like this Dory looking helmet protects you from the bad guys. Like, what's your name? John. What's your real name, John? As he grabs his letter, like, Pyro, I can control the fire. It's like, you're almost a god amongst men. You're amazing. Don't let anybody tell you different. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that scene. You saw that dark side of Pyro earlier when he was trying to attack the cops. It was like he was basically enjoy trying to kill them. Anyway, back to Magneto with his helmet. He walks in there, he looks at Jason, he's like, you can't get me, I got my helmet on. Protects me from you reading mine. He's like, let's change this, shall we? And Magneto, was like, it's time to play that by their rules. And Magneto's able to, use the powers like summon up and change it around by using, the metal in there, changing it around, changing it to attack humans. Mystique, because Mystique tells him this, they're disguising herself as Striker. And I guess Jason, when to please his dad, decides to do it. I guess anything to please his father, right? Please his father. And, he's like, goodbye, Charles. And Magneto prepares to leave. You know, Striker almost gets ready to escape, but Magneto, Wolverine, Wolverine punches him. He's like this, stabs him. He's like, why'd you do this to me? He's like this. It was you who volunteered for the operation. It's really what your parents about who you really were. He's like, you're an animal then, you're an animal now. He's like, what's that? That's the Hoover Dam. It's gonna explode. The water's gonna come in. We're all gonna drown. In a few minutes, we're all gonna be underwater. He's like, well, if we, he's like, tell me everything you want to. Wolverine not want to listen to him. Ties him up in the chains. Like, if you're gonna die, if we all gotta die, you're gonna die too. But like I said, Magneto was able to get them attack the humans. You know, I guess being a military man, he was able to escape out of the chains. Um, Striker was able to break out of the chains. Then the minute the attack happens, when he was like, he's like, impossible. You know, and he's just out of his mind. And Magneto comes up to him and with the chain. He says, you know, well, we're gonna be done talking here, and then he sort of choked him with it, kind of gets him tied up on the chains. Wolverine goes back inside, and you know the Nightcrawler, and they escape. They had to save Professor X though. They can't, Matt Cyclops can't beam in there because it might destroy the illusion or kill out all the humans. So Storm and Nightcrawler have to go in. They, say the prayer, the Lord's prayer, and they're able to get in their savior. Like, oh, she's just a little girl. She's not just a little girl. He's like, I got my eyes on you. This little girl is just an illusion. That is Jason. You know, and she's able to use her mind. Storm is able to, create like a blizzard and make Jason stop and get Professor X to snap out of his mind. And he's back to normal now, so they have escaped. The whole building is going to blow up. And, Nightcrawler is able to teleport him out of there to safety. And, they're about to go the wrong way. And Wolverine cuts the block off his office. You don't go that way, trust me. He takes him another way. They get out there with the children. Wolverine goes talking to him. Goes his dog tags and Striker. He's like this. He's like, you care for that child? He's like, well, I'm gonna go with the X-Men now. Yeah, something like that. Made my decision is like, one day, Wolverine, someone will finish what I started. One day. And as the water comes down, they're trying to escape. Pyro chooses to join up with Magneto and Mystique. Rogue does try to fly the X-Jet, but she messes up. But they get in there, Storm's like, "Honey, it's okay. Get off. You're okay." But there's a malfunction on the X-Jet, so after Jean, in her fight with Scott when he was controlled by Stryker, gets her leg hurt, and she realizes that she has to sacrifice herself to go out there in the water and to use her powers, you know. And he's like, says, "No, open the door." Was upset. He's like, "Gene, please don't do this. I'm sorry. This is the only way. Goodbye." He's like, "No." And trying to get Nightcrawler to go to the seven. Nightcrawler's like, "She's not letting me," and she can't. You know, he's like, "I'm not controlling the jet. She's making me fly away. I'm not in control." And and Gene says, "I'm sorry." Flies them away, and Being, dies in there. Supposedly, as we think. You can see her Phoenix powers grow up, which she does become Phoenix. You see it in the next movie, but I get more in that in the next film. And she sacrifices her life. The Phoenix fully manifests itself into Jean. Cyclops was born her death. They say she's gone, and they're all sad. He's like, no, and they start crying. Everyone's upset. It's a heartbreaking moment. And Nightcrawler starts saying the Lord's Prayer again. Back at the White House, the president prepares to address the country as a imminent threat, but Professor X comes. The lights flicker and the room freezes. The X-Men appear. They give him the files from Stryker's private offices. That there have been casualties. You see sad look on Cyclops' face. That they need to help each other. That they can maybe work together as a team. That he's learning that him and his X-Men, they're there for good. You know, they're using their powers for good, not to attack humanity or anything like that. He's here to do the right thing. To work together to build peace. You know, if there's a war coming, they need to fight it together. And he's like, well, Mr. President, we're here to stay. We're not going anywhere. And Wolverine says, we'll be watching, you know. And Storm goes out, and then they all go out. And I guess the president decides to trust Professor Charles Xavier. And Logan and Logan, Scott, and Charles, they have a talk at the end about Jean. It was her choice, to do that. And she did make a choice. Wolverine says to Scott, Logan says to Scott, it was you. The film ends with a narration by Green Rabbit about mutation and stuff, and you see like a glow in the water of the Phoenix and X2 X-Men. Yeah, that's the end of X-Men 2. So yeah, before I get to any problems I have with the movie, Logan, my tolerance for your smoking the mesh is notwithstanding. Continue smoking that in here, and you'll be spending the rest of your days under the belief that you're a 6-year-old girl. You do that, have Jean break your hell. What exactly, Professor? Oh, Professor Logan. Art. Got any beer? This is school, so there is no. Yeah, that's a no. Get anything other than chocolate milk? Excuse me, can you intimidate anybody, even their voice, even their voice? Okay, I'm not gonna read all quotes here, but some good lines of dialogue here. But let me get I'm tired. It's pretty late at night, so yeah, pretty late. 10:43. Anyway, to sum it up, my opinion on X2, X-Men United, I love this film. This is a great X-Men film. Still my favorite. Still the best one in my opinion. are one of the best, probably the best in my opinion. This is The Empire Strikes Back to me of X-Men movies, in my opinion, or Aliens, if you which I just watched that sequel a while ago. Yeah, great sequels, and this is a great sequel that surpasses the first one, in my opinion. What I like about it, I love the story. I think Bryan Singer, despite maybe for some actors the experience wasn't good, maybe Bryan Singer was being a bit of a pain in the ass behind the scenes. I guess I don't know if Holly Berry him got into it. I don't know too much about that. Again, I wasn't there. I haven't witnessed it, so I don't know anything. You hear stories of all the time of any movies, but that's a lot of movies you can hear stories behind. But I don't know if that's all true. But despite that, despite some difficult stuff behind the scenes and stuff, I'm glad he took inspiration, to do a sequel. Yeah, the X Men are important in this movie, but it works because I think the story is really good. I like the story. I like that we get a different villain. That's William Striker. Brian Cox does a great job. I love Nightcrawler. Played by Alan Coleman. He does a great job. It's a shame he didn't do the sequels, but again, maybe it's because of the experience he had. I don't know. You know, but despite that, the cast is still great. Uh, First of all, like I said, I love the story. I love seeing them go to this lake. A lot of good action there. And good story, just a really good story. It still is about discrimination, about hate, and see what people see what they do with the hate and hatred that they're willing to kill half the human race, which is William Stryker's goal to kill half the human race because he hates them. He's very prejudiced against them. You know, but you can understand his motivation that he's insane. But it's nice to have a human villain, as well. Magneto's good too. I mean, there are things going on in this movie, but it doesn't bother me. It's not too much. I like the whole scene that we found out about Logan's past about how he got his anti-man claws, that it was Trigger that did it, that he had a bit of a past that he's not proud of. But, you like that Logan, even though he's an anti-hero, you like seeing him become an X-Man. It makes him become a hero, in a way. An anti-hero, but makes him become maybe a better person, you know, or a better mutant, if you will. But it's nice to see Storm do more things as well. Using her powers a few times, like create tornadoes or the blizzard. That was really cool. She got some good dialogue in there. You know, it's not over the top say dialogue. With the toad, it said, anger gives you fears, like, but she does a great job. I'm not complaining. Yeah, Holly Berry. It's nice to see her have more screen time, give her more to do. You know, know that she's been. You tell point to the Storm that she's had a hatred of humans too, maybe in a way, or doesn't like people very much. Maybe she just had a bad history with humans. You know, I like seeing that we see bits and pieces of Jean, like the Phoenix inside of her, and yeah, getting to see more screen time with Rogue, and especially more screen time for Iceman is really cool. Oh, my DVD is listed right here. Yeah, Pyro was a cool new character they added in. I like Pyro. Him almost killing the cops is like wow, and it's just a good story. The film has a good story. I like that it was about William Stryker trying to kill them, and there was a lot of action in there. So it was more action in the first movie. I think the special effects are a lot better, hold up a lot. In 21 years, I think the special effects are really good, hold up really well. Badass action scenes, good lines of dialogue. The directing and writing is good in my opinion. The story I thought was good. The producers, I thought Lawrence Roland and Hunt Spillner, they all did a good job with the music. The music score, da 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 da, really good. And again, the film is 2 hours, I guess you can say, but it goes by at a really good pace. The story is enough to keep me invested. Yeah, the characters are spread out through the movie. They're not really working together. They're separated from the movie, but despite that, it works. They don't kill a character. They don't overuse them. They don't make the characters stupid like in X Men Last Stand. Like they screwed over the characters in that movie, but in this movie they don't. They do a really good job and a good writing with the characters, in my opinion. But I will get to my problems. My one big problem is that Cyclops. Cyclops is an awesome character. He doesn't get much screen time in here. I mean, seriously, I think Cyclops is a cool character, and it's a shame he gets knocked out by Kelly Hu related Deathstrike, and because of that we don't see him. not until the third act of the movie. So he doesn't have any screen time. Paramount really does anything. I'm like, it's worse what they do him in the next movie, but in here it's like really shame on them for doing that. Yeah, and maybe I think you should have kept some scenes in there. I do think there was a bit more, maybe a little more violence in here that you should have kept in my opinion. I get it. Again, like I said, the reason they keep it PG-13 because when you think about it, you know, the first X-Men 2000 with PG-13, I'm sure made money. Uh, Not Blade 2. Blade 2 was rated R, but Spider-Man 2002 made big money. You know, was very successful, and so was Daredevil. Even people don't like Daredevil theatrical version. Theatrical's better, but anyway, the movie still made money. So I guess they were thinking, you know, I guess they were thinking, oh well, we're gonna keep PG-13, turn it down because it's making money. So I'm thinking that's the way the studio sees it. That some of these Marvel movies. This is before the MCU too. They're probably thinking, well, we need to keep PG-13. We need to tone it down. Yeah, because it's just in the studio's mind. Well, that well, we're gonna keep the film PG-13. We're gonna trim it down because you know, you know, trim it down because they're afraid it won't make money, which is stupid and BS anyway. But I do think the movie, some scenes I think they could kept in, you know, a bit of scenes of her becoming like the Phoenix, like patrolling the jet. That was pretty creepy to watch and cool to see as well. You know, they do make references here, but it's very little bit of the Phoenix and toward the ending of the film. But again, great movie, great dialogue. It's good to see them team up with Magneto. I'm okay with him being a secondary villain. Yeah, he tries to kill the humans at the end. It's Jason was a creepy character, I would say, creepy mutant. But it's a very entertaining movie. And what's going on with them? They still really good with the comic books there, I guess. I don't know if it's different from the comic, but it seems like Bryan Singer, was make wanted to make a damn good sequel, and it seems like he really did. It's just my big issue with it is Cyclops not having enough screen time, and maybe you could have had a bit more blood and gore. Because Wolverine stabbing, you don't ever see no blood. But I guess that they just want to tone that again, like I said, because previous Marvel movies, were and Daredevil, which came out, in February, and this came out in May, you know, came out 2 months before this at the time. They're probably thinking, well, we're going to keep it PG-13 because of the tone. I think it's mainly because of how successful Spider-Man was, too. That's why. Tone it down, make more money. Keep it PG-13. Or thinking, well, people go see the movie. People are going to see the movie, I think, whether it's PG-13 or rated R. I don't think the rating really matters. As long as you have a good trailer and TV spots, as long as you have a good marketing tool for the movie, people are going to see it regardless. But, I guarantee you there's teenagers, young people as well that go see rated R movies nowadays. Yeah, nobody cares what the rating of the movie is. They want to go see the movie, they can go see the movie. But anyway, I just want to bring that up. But despite that, I love the story. The new cast members, Brian Cox, as Will Shark, does a great job. The actor who played Pyro did really good. Kelly Hu, beautiful Kelly Hu, she was great. And what's that, Kurt Wagner, not Kurt Wagner, Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler was great. It's really a shame that we didn't get him in other movies. I would like to see him be part of the team, but yeah, that's another issue I have is that I wanted to, Nightcrawler, they should have had more movies. But maybe if Alan Cumming had better experience, he would stick around. It would have been cool seeing him in Days of Future Past, but sadly, we never see him again as the character, which is sad. But despite those problems, this is still the best X-Men movie, The Empire Strikes Back of sequels, or The Empire Strikes Back of the X-Men films, in my opinion. I'm not counting the Wolverine movies or anything. That's its own little trilogy there. Or the rebooted movies, rebooted films, like First Class and Apocalypse. No, no, no. This is just the X-Men trilogy, the original X-Men trilogy, with the third one being Last Stand. But anyway, so guys, my rating for X2 X-Men United, my favorite X-Men movie, my rating for this is I'm going to give it a thumbs up. And my rating for X2 X-Men United, or X-Men 2, whatever you want to call it, 5 out of 5 stars. So tell me guys in the comments down below, if you've seen X2 X-Men United, what do you think of it in your opinion? Do you agree with me? Is this your favorite X-Men movie? Do you think this is the best X-Men movie like I think it is? Or do you dislike the movie for any reason? Did you not like it? Just tell me in the comments down below. What do you think of this film in your opinion? Alright guys. So hopefully tomorrow. Oh, I might try to do more reviews this week. Who knows? Maybe. I'm just saying it. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. It just depends, folks. Anyway, the next is another Marvel review. Yeah. Now I did grow up with the first X-Men movies. I never saw any of the theaters. I did Apocalypse, which I regret. Seeing Logan, that was a great experience. And Days of Future Past, saw that in theaters too. Anyway, so the next one is the 2000 will be Ang Lee's Hulk. Yes, this is the next superhero 2000s review because this came out in June. I'm just be honest with you, I've never been a big fan of this movie. I'll get into more reasons why when I review Ang Lee's Hulk from 2003. So yeah, I'm not gonna get into it now. Let's wait for that review to be next, okay? So stay tuned for my review next for Hulk, for Ang Lee's Hulk, which will be next. So hopefully tomorrow. So guys, again, my rating for X2 X-Men United, my favorite X-Men movie, the best X-Men film in my opinion, awesome film. It's 5 out of 5 stars and a thumbs up for X2 X-Men United. So guys, tell me in the comments down below, what do you think of X-Men 2 in your opinion? Do you like it? Do you hate it? And stay tuned next for the next 2000 superhero reviews. It's still in the year of 2003, and that will be Hulk, Ang Lee's Hulk, starring Eric Bana, Jennifer Connelly, Sam Elliott, and Josh Lucas, and Nick Nolte. Coming up next is Hulk. So stay tuned for that, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye. Bye.